Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Capes and Lunatics Creator Corner. This is Phil, of course, and, well, you're not here to talk. Well, listen to me babble to myself all night. We are here with celebrity cosplayer. How do you pronounce it?
Zabracus.
Zabracus. Do you ever give an explanation of that name, or is it
I do.
Okay.
But you can ask me later. I don't want to give it right now.
Okay. Oh, they have to. Everyone has to wait till the end for that.
It's true.
Okay. All right. Well, like whenever I talk to anyone, first of all, thank you for making time for me, and anyone listening to this or watching this on YouTube.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
But I always start with asking everybody like how they got into like their like passion. So like how and when did you first get into cosplay?
So I first got into it in 2013 when Salt Lake Comic Con had their first comic convention. I heard about comic conventions before, but I mostly only knew of San Diego existing. But it wasn't in super close proximity to me, so I was like, oh, I'll go to that eventually someday. But then Salt Lake had one, and so it was my first one, and so I went to it, and I don't even know how I knew this. I don't quite remember how, but I was like, people go to comic conventions in costume, so I'm gonna do that too. And so I just cosplayed my first time ever going to a comic convention. I was Tifa Lockhart from Final Fantasy VII and Lara Croft from Tomb Raider, and I just had such a great time doing that I was like, I just have to do this. This is just so much fun. I can't not do this.
Okay, that is cool. I think I've never been there, but I think San Diego might have been like too much for like a first convention.
Probably. I mean, knowing what I know about San Diego now, probably.
I say it's just like literally like miles and miles of like crowds, right. And yeah. All right. So my next question, because it's a topic near and dear to my heart.
Okay.
Are you in the comic books and superheroes, or do you just like the look of the outfits?
So I've only in the past few years have been into comics. Let me back up and explain. Growing up, I read comics. Don't get me wrong, I read comics, but they were like the Sunday Funnies comics. For the newspapers that my family got. So like Garfield was my jam. Garfield and like those types of comics were like what technically introduced me to comics. But as I got older, I learned about superhero comics and all of those things. And I've been reading a lot of them ever since. And I watched lots of superhero movies as a child. I just never read the comics because I didn't know they existed, really. But now that I do, I'm trying to catch up, but there's literally thousands.
Oh yeah, more and more every day. Yes. Because I was looking at some of your pictures. I mean, you have like great like Poison Ivy cosplay, and I saw a Spider Woman. Do you do like online research, or do you just go into the store and buy like stuff, or?
So like as far as research goes, I usually try to I try to actually know the character before I do anything. So like with Poison Ivy, I tried to play a little bit of the Arkham, because I based mine off of the Arkham Poison Ivy. So I tried to play a little bit of the video games of that. And I knew Poison Ivy from the movies and Justice League on TV and stuff like that. I haven't done a lot of comic research for her, I'm afraid to say, but all the other things, I know more or less a lot about Poison Ivy. And then with Spider-Woman, I've read a few of the comics, and so that's how I kind of came in contact with her. Same with Spider-Gwen. I've read most of the Spider-Gwen comics except few. I'm kind of behind on the past few not episodes, but issues is the right term. But in general, with the comic characters especially, I really try to be knowledgeable about the character before I cosplay them. My comic cosplay bae is actually Deathstroke, and so I've read most of his comics. Again, I'm a few issues behind. I'm always a few issues behind, but I made sure to read all of his comics, and it was actually reading his comics that got me so interested in the character to cosplay him and Ravager. So
when you say you do research, do people like question you at cons or like about the characters?
They They do, and that's one of the reasons that I try to do characters that I know about, just to try to limit the trolls a little bit, just a little bit. I'm all for people cosplaying any character that they want to cosplay, but I try to have an actual knowledge of the characters before I cosplay them.
Okay, so then probably not comics. What would you say is like your number one hobby or obsession? Is it gaming?
My number one obsession is probably gaming, yeah. I like comics, but I like playing games a lot more.
What are you playing right now? Like, what's your favorite?
So, as all of the people who follow me on Twitch know, I am completely obsessed with Overwatch right now. Like, I've tried playing other games and tried to become ingrained in other games, but I just can't stop playing Overwatch is a problem. And they just barely came out with their Halloween stuff, and so it's going to be even worse now.
I haven't been. It's been the last couple of years. I haven't been in the gaming, but do they do a lot of? I guess at the big cons they do, but they do a lot of gaming at all the cons still, or?
So most big conventions, they have just kind of a conglomerate of everything. They'll have their comic books, spread out in their vendor area. They'll have their panels cater to literally everything. And then they'll have usually a small section catered to gaming. And depending upon the convention, will determine the scope of that gaming. I know in Salt Lake Comic-Con has partnered with Salt Lake Gaming Con with their gaming stuff, and so their gaming stuff has gotten a lot better. As far as other conventions I've been to that are bigger and their gaming stuff hasn't been super great, but there's also gaming conventions for that kind of stuff because gamers aren't always into comics and stuff like that. So it's kind of a weird crossover.
Mm-hmm. And I guess you're in the role playing games also, because I know we were trying to set up this interview one day and you're like, no, that's one of my Dungeons and Dragons sessions.
Yes. So I do play D&D. We play about every other weekend. Dungeons and Dragons, if you don't know what D&D is. Currently, I'm playing 2 characters. I have a Warforged Deep Gnome Cleric, who is a guild artisan woodcarver. She's crazy. Her name is Perry Trendybuck, if you can catch that, what that's referencing. And then I also have a assassin rogue named Drusilla Drokovich. So, but I have to play both of them right now because we only have like 3 people in our session intermittently, and so we need both a healer and a rogue. So I kind of have to play both.
Cool. But I've been trying to do my homework. I was looking up. I was looking at your Facebook and everything, and you describe yourself as a film and TV critic.
Yes.
What are you watching right now?
So I'm super behind on a lot of TV stuff because I've been focusing on gaming lately. But I call myself that because I've just been interested in film stuff for a long while. I'm a film minor. I have that degree and whatever. But the last TV show I technically watched was The Deuce on HBO. And then I'm also a huge Game of Thrones fan. I'm trying so hard to get into all of the Netflix Marvel series, like The Defenders and Daredevil, Jessica Jones, and all of that. But they all more or less have the same story arc, and so I get bored. Like, I'll watch like 5 episodes and then just be like, okay, this is like every other superhero movie ever. And so I get bored. And so I'm really bad about trying to get through those. But I'm trying.
Don't tell anyone I told you this, but the last one was Defenders, and they're all in that one, and it's only 8 episodes all the rest of them were 13 episodes. So yeah, just do Defenders. You'll get like the gist of it.
Yeah, I heard Iron Fist was horrible too, so that kind of makes me like even more sad about the Defenders because I love Iron Fist as a character. And so,
I mean, I don't think it was the complete train wreck some people make it out to be, but it was a lot of boardroom stuff, and they're just like, oh, what are we gonna do with Danny? And
it happens.
Have you seen any good movies lately?
I I've been meaning to watch the new Blade Runner and It, but I haven't been able to make it to the movie theater lately. I've just been too busy. Unfortunately, I can't even remember the last movie I saw in the theater, which is pretty sad. I've just been so busy. I'm trying. I've got so much going on. It's hard sometimes.
Did you see anything this summer? Did you see Wonder Woman?
I did see Wonder Woman. I loved it.
Yes.
Minus the last few scenes. It was like this great epic movie, which was all cohesive, and then there was this last scene of the movie, or last few scenes, which were just an entirely different movie. It drove me nuts.
Yeah, but I'm that DC for you.
I don't know. DC's made a few good movies, but I mostly like DC's animated stuff. Their animated stuff is fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I'm a huge Batman fan, and yeah, I love their Batman stuff. Oh yeah.
Yeah, have you seen DC Justice League Dark?
Yes.
Oh, so good.
Oh so yeah. Good. Constantine, yes.
So good.
That's right. You have a Zatanna cosplay too, right?
I do.
Yes.
That was one of the reasons that I was like, okay, I need to finally make my Zatanna. Because I've had so many people tell me that I need to make her, but after watching that, I was like, okay, I'll make her now. But it was so good.
I know I was going to ask you. So, it could be a TV show or a movie. What do you think what's the best thing you saw this year so far?
The best thing I've seen this year. I'm just going to have to go with Game of Thrones.
Big surprise coming from the D&D fan.
I know. I love Game of Thrones is my favorite TV show and book series ever. So I'm very partial to it. But I'd have to say that I think probably there's probably 6. Episodes 6 and 8 were by far the best. So the season finale and 2 episodes before that. Great. All right. I'm not going to say any spoilers just in case.
Yes.
But dragons.
I think everyone knows that.
I don't even know if you watch Game of Thrones.
I am so far behind. It's I have a young child. I can't watch that.
You're good, but you at least know that there's dragons.
Yeah, I think just the way things are now, you don't even have to watch the show, and I think even my mother probably knows. Oh, dragon!
Constantly.
Yeah.
You should watch the show though. I'm that's gonna be my homework for you is get caught up somehow.
All right,
I can lend you my HBO account so you can get caught up.
Oh, I have HBO. That's just all right, that's my homework. I'll watch Game of Thrones and you watch all the Marvel Netflix stuff.
Now you can assign me homework. It's totally okay.
Marvel Netflix. But speaking of books, I see you're a big lover of books.
Yes.
Besides Game of Thrones, what else do you read?
Oh my goodness, there's so many book series I read. Another one of my favorites is the Kingkiller Chronicles, or The Name of the Wind, which is by Patrick Rothfuss. So good. Again, that's kind of based off of D&D. He's just this bard who's just a badass. It's great. I don't know if I'm allowed to say bad words on here, so I'm sorry.
That's not too bad.
Still, I'm trying to refrain from things. My childhood is lots of Harry Potter and stuff like that. But lately I've also been into the Glass Castle series by Sarah J. Maas. So I'm just currently reading her current book on that. Actually, I'm an audiobook person. Audible is my jam. So I've been doing a lot of that lately. But in general, if it's something fantasy, if it's something mystery or thriller, in general fiction, I'm a fiction fanatic. So anything like that, I will definitely be reading.
So is Game of Thrones one of your all-time? Is that your favorite series of all time?
It's tied with Lord of the Rings.
Okay. So it sounds
Lord of the Rings is just so good. How can you? It's a hard one. I don't even know if you've read that, but I assume you've at least seen the movies.
Yes. It sounds like your comfort zone, if anyone sees you at a convention, is carrying a sword or a battle axe or something.
You would think that, but like at a convention, you'll see me in almost any type of costume, like anime, gaming, comics. Like I really do have a lot of variation between what I like.
And the one that just like confused the heck out of me, I mean, it's good, but from my childhood, I see you have a He-Man one or
Yes.
just like
So that's actually one of my favorites to wear. I like to call him her She-Man because it's just my gender bent He-Man. So it actually came about because one of my really good cosplay friends, Alkali Lake, had a She-Ra, and she was coming to Salt Lake Comic Con, and I was like, okay, I need to make a cosplay to go with yours. So is it going to be Skeletor or is it going to be He-Man? And so I opted to do He-Man just because I could do that in a lot quicker time constraint. And so then it was born. And so She-Man or Herman or whatever you want to call it is born. But it's definitely one of my favorites to wear.
you just wanted an excuse to carry the sword.
Yes.
Yes, there's so much stuff. And it said you were a foodie.
Yes. I love food. I don't know what else to say other than I love food and I love food to taste good. Like, I mean, I'll eat almost everything, but I'm not quite a garbage disposal. The food still needs to taste good for me to eat it. But I love food. I'm not someone to just be afraid to eat in front of people. I will just stuff my face until I'm full. So.
All right. All right. Trapped on a desert island. You can only take 3 foods with you. What do you take?
Oh my God, that's so hard.
Give me 3.
Oh my goodness. Probably popcorn, potatoes, and cheese. Potatoes because I could subsist on them and I love them. Popcorn because I'm just obsessed. And cheese because it goes with everything and it's just delicious.
Just sounds like you can make some kind of dish with all 3 of them.
You probably could. I would hope you could. Now I feel like I have to try that.
So your favorites. All right, now we know your favorites. And I see you have a dog.
Yes. I bring him in, but he'll just bark and bark and bark and bark, and none of us want that. But he's a Welsh Corgi, and his name is Smee. And yes, that is from Peter Pan / Captain Hook. And I'm still working on my Captain Hook cosplay, and he can be my little first mate Smee. But if you don't know what a Corgi is, just Google them. They're adorable and fat. They're short. Again, I'd show you, but he'll just bark.
Yeah, you just have the one.
Yeah, I just have the one. I mean, eventually I'll probably have like 100, but that's long term. That's long term. Instead of like the crazy cat lady, I'm going to be the crazy corgi lady. Like I'll be worse than the Queen of England, who has like 12 right now, mind you.
100 dogs, all with like different costumes and.
Yes, they will all have we'll all have coordinating costumes. It's gonna be great. I don't know if you guys have seen like Kamui cosplay, but she also has a special page devoted to her corgis called Kamui's Corgis.
Huh.
So they're great. She makes armor for them, but she's like the armor goddess, so it's even better.
Cool. All right, and one of the like really interesting things I saw, the owner operator of Supersonic Speed Dating.
Yes. So I co-own a business. It's called Supersonic Speed Dating. And my partner and I, we go around to different conventions, comic conventions primarily. We do stuff locally too. And we're starting to expand things to not just comic conventions, but for now, mostly just comic conventions. And we hold speed dating events. So we just help geeks unite, essentially.
Do you have to like sign up ahead of time, or is it just like everyone show up and?
It's you kind of have to sign up ahead of time. It's we have different sessions throughout the day at the conventions. Depending on the convention, depends on how many different sessions we have. But you just come sign up just with a few hours within the actual time period of when it's going to happen. And then the event happens and you can find the love of your life, or you can just find a friend. So it's a lot of fun.
And I see something about Nerdvana. Is that included in that, or is it?
Yeah, so they're kind of sister companies. So with Supersonic Speed Dating, it's solely just the speed dating. And then Nerdvana events, we do all sorts of nerd-centered events. We've held concerts where we've had artists perform, and then just various events with that for just the geek and nerd communities locally and just in the various places that we've been. We also use that for just corporate events. So if companies want to hire us out for different characters, like usually for Star Wars is the biggest one that we're hired out for, then we provide characters for that.
That's cool.
So I don't just use cosplay for recreational, fun, awesome conventionness. I use it as a way to promote entertainment for businesses and whatnot too.
So are you like a oh yeah, I think I saw that on your page. Like you'll host events, or
yes.
Is do you do the same thing every time, or do you like tailor it to what the like?
We just tailor it to whatever the company needs. So if that's Star Wars, we come up with Star Wars characters. I have a Jedi and a Rey. And I usually try to make new characters each year. If they want something for Guardians of the Galaxy, I have Gamora. If I can't be there, if there's a different Gamora, we have other cosplayers that we hire. So we just work with whatever the company needs. Like we can literally, there's so many cosplays out there and so many cosplayers, and we have the ability to make just about anything. So that if a company wants something, we can get it for them.
That is awesome. But I think that's everything I had. I don't want to hold you up too long, so I'm sure you're
fine.
plotting some cosplay or some event or something. But no, thank you for joining me, and please tell everyone your social media, where they can find you, anything you have coming up, any appearances, or let it all.
Yeah, thank you. I'm very happy to have been on here. If you ever want to interview me or come up with random questions here or there, I'm happy to answer them. But I'm Zabracus Cosplay. You can find me on all the social medias, whether that be Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, Patreon, all the things. Just type in Zabracus or Zabracus Cosplay. You'll find me. I'm literally the only one. And that's Zabracus. My next appearance is actually going to be not this weekend, but the next weekend. I will be at Central City Comic Con in Yakima, Washington. And then the next weekend after that, I will be at Kamikaze in Los Angeles, California. And then 2 weeks after that, I will be at Fan Expo Vancouver in Vancouver, Washington. So I'll be all over the place, the Pacific Northwest, in the next few weeks.
Yeah, but you've put up with me, so now you're a friend of the show. I know you make your own videos and stuff, but if you ever need a place to promote, let me know.
We'll chat. For sure. Thank you so much. I've had a great time. And if you ever need anything, just let me know too.
All right. Thank you very much. And everyone, follow her and show the support.
Thank you so much. It was great to meet you, Phil.
Thank you. You too. This has been great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Have a good night, guys.
Night. All right, everyone. That's Zabracus Cosplay. Great person. I don't know what to say. I mean, she loves the cosplay. She loves the role-playing games. You tell she's a big Game of Thrones fan. Kind of felt inadequate not being up to date. All right. But she gave you all her plugs. I will give you ours. For any of the shows on the Capes and Lunatics, you can email us, capesandlunatics@gmail.com. And we have a voicemail, 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And if you would like to do an interview like Zabracus Cosplay just did, you can email me personally, nightwingpdp@gmail.com. That's nightwingpdp@gmail.com. And I am on Twitter. That's how Zabracus and I got in contact, @nightwingpdp. And if you're watching live on our YouTube channel, which everyone should subscribe, and we're planning a lot more live events. So subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you'll always get the notification that we're on. And like I said, if we're recording Wednesday night, if you're watching this live tomorrow, I'd say around 10 Eastern, Lil's Hellfire and I will be doing our review. That's right, we're back, Queen Consolidated. We will be doing our review of the Arrow Season 6 premiere, so check that out. And as always, Super Connectivity will be live Friday, and Capes and Lunatics Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern. I know it's early, especially for you West Coasters, but even if you can't check us out live, check us out on YouTube, and we also have a podcast for all you YouTube people. We are also a podcast. Subscribe on iTunes and Stitcher and every other podcasting catcher service you can find. And rate, review, give us the ratings. It helps people find us. Like I said, subscribe on YouTube, subscribe to the podcast. And if that's enough of me pimping out me and my friends, another great creator corner. I love talking to creators. Tonight we talked to Zabracus, creates other identities as cosplayer. And Friday the 13th, that's right. Planning to by himself. 4 p.m. Eastern, I will be talking to another cosplayer, the great Alexandria the Red. So check that out. Like I said, follow us on YouTube. You'll get all our content before it hits the podcast. So if you're one of the super fans, get everything before it hits the podcast. All right. And as we do, well, not me and all my friends are here. So this has been the Capes and Lunatics. Well, just me. This is Phil. Thank you for joining us. This is Zabracus. Good night.